and keep growing with this business model. And he just kept building and building. And fast forward 20 years, folks, 20 years, you fast forward, and he is a veteran of the home-based business arena. He's helped so many people grow a home-based business. He's been consultants with multiple companies. He's helped so many people find their path on this planet to financial security that you really can't even count them. And everyone that speaks of this gentleman speaks as highly as they possibly could because he's helped so many people. So we're really excited tonight to have Mr. Ken Eggleston come out, show you exactly what INFINii has and what drew him here after being in the industry for 20 years and could have retired by now, but he's back here working with us and what we're doing here because he knows what he's found here is something different. He's going to walk through why that's different. So, Mr. Ken Eggleston, I could talk all day about this guy and about what he's done in the industry and the impact that he's had on my life and the lives of so many other people. But I just want to turn him over and let him help you. So, Ken, are you with us, sir?
I am, Kev. I really appreciate the very kind introduction. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, loud and clear. And we can see your screen.
Outstanding. Well, it's funny when you say 20 years, and it does fly by in an instant. And it's truly a pleasure to be here tonight to introduce INFINii to the guests that we have on the line, and talk about really a game changer within the industry. As you said, for 20 years I've been in the industry. I've written and had a comp plan consulting company for the last 10 years, so I write the compensation plans for the industry for many of the companies, and then also have served in executive roles as well as master distributors. And it gives you an in-depth insight into the industry. And what, folks, we're going to share with you tonight is a game changer that I've never seen before. When you're on different opportunity calls for companies, you always hear that. But I would tell you, coming from my position, I'm one of the ones that's usually in front of the audiences of thousands saying, hey, work hard for 2 to 5 years and go retire on the beaches of Tahiti. But yet I know that less than 0.1% of the audience will ever do that because of the difficulties normally found within the industry. We have a phenomenal industry and a great opportunity, but it just is, there's nothing like the INFINii model, and that's what I'm here to share with you tonight. I think after I'm done with this, you're going to understand why this is different than any other home-based model, and you're going to understand why not only myself, but many of the other top leaders in the industry, people that have consistently earned over 6 figures a month, are coming to this model. And it's very simply because a revolution is truly happening within the world. We see it all over the place, and we understand that we're living in an unprecedented time of change. We see technology moving from one thing to the other, and it's hard sometimes to even keep up with that pace. The industries and the economies are shifting, and certainly technology is replacing the old economy. We see that happening continuously, and so many people are being displaced by technology, but there's also a lot of people that are taking advantage of that technology. The people that right now are what we call adapters. They're recognizing what's happening, and they're moving forward with it. There's a book I often point people to read called The Tipping Point, and it's something that I strongly recommend, and it deals with this very fact that we're talking about right now. So if we look across the world, we're in a global economy. If China sneezes, the United States catches a cold. Something's happened in Europe with the euro. It's affecting the U.S. market. It's affecting the Australian market. We all see the dynamics that are going on. And CNN Money just recently said, this is a global economy problem. It's of a titanic proportion. And when you hear the terminology Titanic, well, of course they're describing the ill-fated luxury liner that went down and sunk in the ocean in 1912. That's not exactly what you want to hear as far as a position we're in. The U.S. continues to see massive bankruptcy filings and all kinds of debt, now approaching just an enormous point where they don't even think the U.S. economy is going to be able to recover from the type of debt that it has over its head. The euro and unemployment, if we look at Spain, we look at Greece, some of the different dynamics that are there, there's areas that are now exceeding up to 45% in unemployment, and it's hitting the youngest generation hardest, those from the age of about 20 to 28, as well as those 50 and older. But across the board, we also see the refugees flocking in, and there's just an economic strain that's coming on everyone. The estimates are that 600 million jobs are going to be required in the next decade alone, and 200 million plus out of work, even if you look at the best statistics provided by the different governments, and they don't count a lot because they're always trying to make their numbers look better. We are in a global unemployment crisis, and the U.S. middle class and every middle class around is shrinking to the point. Matter of fact, I was reading an article today that the U.S. middle class actually makes less or has only had a 6% increase as far as working wage hour employees, a 6% increase since the late 1970s. And much of what we see in Asia and other developing countries, they haven't even had that long of a period, and already they're in decline of the growing middle classes. So we're looking at some major issues. Now, we all recognize that. We're all sitting, we watch the same news, read the same news online or whatever, but what the beauty of that is that for every downturn in life, we always know there's an opposite, so there's an upturn. And for every dying economic empire, a new one is born. And people that, again, can be adapters and move are going to be able to make that happen. I always like this statement from The Origin of Species. It is not the fittest that survive, but those who are most adaptable to change that can make it happen. So with that, let's talk about the change that's happening in the world. I just turned 50. I couldn't even have imagined a day when people with their own cars would be picking me up like a taxi service. But yet some bright entrepreneur said, you know what, let's create a thing called Uber. We'll have it all tied into apps. People could do that, and they'll be able to rate the different cars and pick them up. And lo and behold, launched the company in 2009, and the market value is $50 billion on this. Doesn't own a single taxi. This is all electronically driven. You could imagine if the person first talking about this idea had brought it up, how many people would have told him that he or she would be an idiot to even think it was possible? Yet look at where Uber is today. Look at Airbnb. Founded in 2008 with a market valuation of $25.5 billion, according to CNN Money, doesn't own a single piece of real estate. Understand that Hilton Hotels, who's been around since the 1950s approximately, is only valued at about $19 billion with all of the real estate holdings that they own. Technology is simply taking over, and people that are adapting to it are obviously becoming incredibly wealthy and are able to enjoy a very prosperous life. So INFINii will help you capitalize on this megatrend that's happening across the board. So we all see what's happening with the malls around the country. It was in the newspapers here in the U.S. that Walmart's closing an unprecedented number of their mega stores, and this type of picture is simply depressing to many when you're looking at it. But I don't see it that way. I see it as simply an evolution that's taking place. And when we begin to understand what's happening with affecting the world retail, we see Walmart, we see Target, Macy's, Sears. These are like your top names within North America and Best Buy for stores. And we see the trend that's gone down in their sales, even with Black Friday and all the other type of sales that they've attempted, we still see their numbers consistently driving down. But yet at the same time, what do we see? We see Amazon.com, we see Alibaba, we see eBay, we see all these online giants doing just incredibly explosive levels of business. So if you're paying attention to something, clearly the green arrow pointing up at 117% has to tell you that there's a shift going on. And for those of you out there that live in any type of an area where you have UPS trucks delivering products to homes, etc. You can't stop seeing the UPS trucks, the FedEx trucks, and everything going up and down the road. My wife, of course, has a Prime membership. I was terrified to find out that Amazon's planning on being able to deliver products within 2 hours if you live close to an Amazon center. I'm thinking, okay, well, we might as well just set up the train right here to the door with how often she buys stuff. So Online sales are exploding. It's growing at 15 to 20% a year, and folks, it's not going to stop. People don't have to get in their car, drive to the mall. Don't do that. Think of yourself. How often have you purchased from eBay, from Amazon, Google? All of the trends are moving in this direction to the tune of over 300 billion in combined sales in 2014 alone. So I think every one of you is getting exactly what I'm talking about. But imagine, just stop for a moment and imagine if there was a way to make these companies actually work for you. And that's exactly what the genius behind INFINii have put together here. And that's what we're going to be moving. So they're finding the customers for you. They're processing your payments. They're delivering the products, and they're providing the customer support. That sounds like a dream come true. And in fact, it's the same concept that was applied to Uber and Airbnb and everything else. It's use the online engine that's already existing. So it's this huge shift from offline to online. We're providing a massive opportunity where many brands will rapidly make the move to online. So when we think about all the different companies out there, well, they're all trying to replicate this, providing their own affiliate links, but there's no better word-of-mouth advertising than relationship marketing. And this is why we've gone ahead and put this together. So think about e-commerce as a whole right now. Let's take a global picture, because it doesn't matter if you live in Australia, Italy, Russia, Ukraine, Portugal, US, Canada, anywhere across the board, we're all in the same scenario. So think about in the US, look at that number right there, 349 billion. Let's jump across to Canada, 27 billion. When we start to think of France, 43 billion. UK, Germany, China, Korea, Japan, everything just keeps going, Brazil. You understand we are talking about a true global economy here that's coming into play. And the research firm eMarketer projects that global e-commerce sales will eclipse 3.5 trillion, that's trillion with a T, folks, within the next 5 years. So my question to you, and our question, INFINIi's question to you, would be how much of the 3.5 trillion would you like to participate in? Think back to a time when, if you could have gone ahead and been part of the process of seeing the first Starbucks coming into an area and being able to capitalize on that and control some of that. And you start to think of opportunities. What if you'd been part of Dell at the very beginning, or Microsoft? And this is truly at that epic of a level because it's a game changer. This isn't like any other company or home-based business opportunity out there where you've got a juice, a lotion, a potion, a coffee, or whatever, that you've got massive competition in the marketplace from every time anybody walks in somewhere else. They see the same products just with a different name on them. There is no competition to INFINii. And with that, the INFINii model is the key factor here. And our system allows you to generate profits with no inventory, no upfront costs. Let's stop and consider that right now with the standard home-based business model. They're asking you usually to buy very large amounts. I see some companies out there where if you want to get in and actively participate, it's $1,500, $2,500, $3,000 in upfront products being shipped to your house. That is not the model behind INFINii. That is not what the founders of this company ever wanted to do. This is an empowerment model. So no traffic generation, no shipping management, and how do you think we're doing as a company right now, folks? We're not talking about a startup here. Some of you sitting on the line may be like, well, this sounds good, but you know about those companies that are just getting going. You never know if they're going to make it. Understand that INFINii has already done through its members' sales actually now approaching $2.5 billion. The profits that have been received by the members are over $380 million since September of 2013, folks. INFINii had a subsidiary that launched that was called DS Domination, and through that model, INFINii is now launching a fully, shall we say, as an umbrella company over multiple areas, so you have the opportunity of a startup without the risk, because we're absolutely solid foundation underneath this. And I like to show this picture because the individuals on that stage, most of them never had any success, even though they tried, within the regular home-based business or network marketing arena. I knew some of them in other companies that were either in my downline or when I was on the executive side. I knew them. I saw how they performed. Some of them, were struggling to make $500 a month, and I've seen them walk the stage here with multiple six-figure yearly earnings. One young man at 27, I watched him walk the stage just a few months back with $600,000 in e-commerce earnings. That doesn't happen by accident. This model is solid. So if you are ready for a better way, clearly INFINii may be the one for you, and I couldn't imagine how it wouldn't be if you're interested in being in front of something. So INFINIi's systems are unlike any other in the world. It's simple, which is the key. It's automated way to profit, utilizing some of the biggest names in business and without spending hours a day on technical tasks. Folks, I am not a computer geek. I wish I had avoided, honestly, I wish I had avoided playing football and baseball in school and had gone into the computer room, or the computer lab as we called it back then, and had spent the time in there, because they're the ones controlling the future of the world right now. And this is the key, because you don't have to be some expert on a computer. You just need to be able to follow the systematic training that's in place. You also don't have to be a marketing expert. It's done for you. Our CEO and our other founders are some of the top e-commerce experts in the world that have put together this platform. And we're not going to bother you about chasing your friends and family. Look, you don't have to. They're already purchasing from Amazon, from eBay. They understand this, and it's one that you can't run into anybody that isn't going to go ahead and be interested in learning about a model that is revolutionizing the world of e-commerce and can benefit them, their families. With INFINii, you add quality to your life. And if you can dedicate a true 60 minutes a day to building a business, if you're interested in this from a business aspect, then 60 minutes a day can change your life over the course of a few months. Our system in action, very simple. I remember when I saw this example, and our CEO Hitesh had said, well, imagine this, Ken. You take a monkey. Now, I thought he was joking at the time, but you take a monkey, and you've identified this monkey on Amazon that's selling for about $8.96. You then utilize our platform, and through our platform, and we research and we find on eBay that same monkey is selling for $17.98. So you're realizing a $9.02 profit on that, minus obviously the Amazon fees or eBay fees associated with that and the transactional fees. But I said, well, really? I see that. I understand it. He goes, well, Ken, you're missing the bigger picture. Think of this in exponential growth terms. It's not one monkey. It's a whole bunch of monkeys. It's a whole bunch of other things. It's not about making a huge amount on one sale. It's about multiplying your sales into substantial continuous volume. So when you begin to understand that, you start to recognize then globally, if we look over at AliExpress, we see that here we have a very nice product that's $3.52, and it's designed for a flip leather mobile phone case. And a very similar product sitting over here on Amazon is selling for $28.99. So you're continuously comparing and shopping other things. And one thing I found, folks, is when I watch my wife buy something on Amazon, I don't see her comparison shopping or spending a lot of time looking at stuff. It's what's ever in that top right-hand corner, what's called a buy box in Amazon, is usually what gets clicked on. So now you've got very similar products with the same features. That's a $25.47 profit, again, minus the transactional fees. And imagine doing this. If you see that type of spread, you're able to see how many you're selling. Imagine you move and you purchase 100 different ones on that. So this is where you scan and sell items that you bring into Amazon. It's that simple, and you can do this while you're shopping. I mean, the concept of what we're talking about, ladies, imagine having shopping parties and all of the different dynamics that we do there. And you go out and you're able to go ahead and actually continuously make very, very large profits throughout this. And you can see as we talk about this, you find a product, it sells for $24.85, you sell it on Amazon for $39.50 all day, you got a profit of $14.65, and it just continues on that path. So what I want to do right now is I continue to show you this with the Amazon eBay profits. I want to bring on board a gentleman who's one of the best overall builders in this industry. He's beyond talented, continues to run massive teams, and has a scope of reach and just a persuasive personality about him that allows him to guide people that trust him and trust his experience. And it's these type of leaders that are coming to us now, like Daniel, that to me show me clearly what we're going to accomplish just now coming out of the beta phase of this, going into the pre-launch, where this company is going to be in the next 6 months. So, Mr. Daniel Pachaco, are you there, sir? We'll give him a chance to unmute. Daniel, I can't hear you if you are there. All right, Daniel. Well, if you come on, let me know. Just feel free to butt right in if you figure out what's going on with the microphone. I really wanted Daniel on here because he's just an absolute tremendous speaker, and I always enjoy having him come on board. All right, so when we look at the potential here of the income that you see on your screen, these are the dynamics of what you can build. Now, some of you, when you think about it, there may be as little as $500 that makes a difference from avoiding anything like bankruptcy. I mean, it was amazing when you start to understand that as little as $500 a month can avoid the vast majority of bankruptcies that take place. So what if you could add $1,000 or $2,000 a month to that? Would it make a difference in your life? I would say it absolutely would. But what if you did this a lot higher and a lot stronger? And that's what this business allows you to do. Choose what you want to do. Your home-based business, think about that right now. Not you working for somebody else, but your home-based business. You build a business from home, you make your own hours, video and live trainings all included in this. There's nothing that you have to do on your own or without assistance except have the dedication to do it. No commuting, no boss, no stress. All you have to do is be focused and willing to make it happen. So what are our platforms? All right, this makes sense to you. You see it. You get the idea that this is going to work. That obviously already has worked incredibly well for a lot of people. What do you have to do to take the next step? Well, we've got 3 separate platforms. Number 1 is our Prime. It's an e-commerce made easy type model. You leverage Amazon, eBay, and more. You've got dozens of specialized features to begin the process of training, dedicated software to decrease the workload, and video training in the back office. Now, usually, the next thing is, and that's why it's worth the $500, to join, etc. Well, folks, there isn't any upfront cost. This is what I was talking about before. There isn't any large amount of money to join. You don't even pay an upfront fee for products or anything else. All of this training is here for you, and the only thing that INFINii does is charge you a monthly membership fee to access the platform and use the systems that have literally cost an unbelievable amount of money. Millions of dollars in programming time has gone into providing this for you. So the next, all right, Daniel,
yeah,
awesome.
They needed to unmute me. I can get on my own.
Well, we'll blame that on Kevin then. But Daniel, please come on board. I'm going to stop right here and let you take it over.
Well, Ken, thank you so much for having me and for that kind introduction. I'm really, really excited, and my wife and I really, it's kind of a long story, so I'm going to just make it really, really short so you can continue on with the presentation. But when we looked at INFINii, a very good friend of mine that presented the program to me, immediately we went to work. Immediately. I mean, from the second I said, okay, he was done, I said, I'm in, started making phone calls and started bringing on board some very, very key leaders. And So it's never an effort that's by yourself. I mean, we have such amazing leadership. My wife, first and foremost, who's my business partner and the intelligent part of the Pacheco family. She, walks in and all of a sudden she sees me that I'm recruiting. She didn't even know what I was recruiting for, and immediately jumps on board and starts supporting me in that endeavor. And as well, we have my business partner Tim Silva and Bishop Stewart. I mean, these are phenomenal people that saw the vision. And here's what we see, Ken. We see an opportunity that started way back in DSD, and that we didn't take advantage of it for whatever reason. It just wasn't the right timing for us, and we passed it up. And when we see what some of those people that you showed in that picture, not only do you know them, we know them. And when we see the results that they've had, the massive success that they've had within INFINii and DS nomination, we really are, man, we should have really taken a closer look 2 years ago. And so when, with all the things that are brand new to the company, and especially with the opportunity to really have the network side of it as well, we knew that we weren't going to pass up this opportunity. And here's why. There's a couple of things that we look for in a company. And I think that this particular company has all of them. Number one, it has to have the capital in place. And so when you look at sales of $2.4 billion, you and I both know that the record in our industry was $1 billion in 4 years. And I'm not going to say the name of the company, but it starts with a big M, and they sold juice. And that company did, in 4 years, $1 billion in sales. Well, now, in the last 2 years, INFINii has done $2.5 billion. So they've done twice as much in half the time. And that's very, very significant. So that's very, very important to have the capital in place, have all of that ready to go to be able to support the growth of the company. Number two, you have to have the experience. And now the word experience is always thrown around, but the word experience is not synonymous with success. And so here, once again, we have a successful experience. This is not a good idea. This isn't something that's theoretical. This isn't something that's coming soon. This is something that they dominated the home-based business arena and just shattered the records in it. That already happened. That's already in the history book. So you've had the successful track record. But not just in that, in the e-commerce side, but in the technology side. A company that really understands and embraces technology and understands it very well, where other companies are kind of scared of technology, or even if they're not, they have to third party it out, where we don't have those issues here. And some people don't really understand how important that is, but being bogged down and stuck in the mud waiting around for programmers to get something fixed, because issues are always going to arise, but being able to respond to them efficiently and effectively only comes from that successful experience. And then moving on from there, you have to have the operations into place, and that's where people like yourself, Ken, that have seen the good, the bad, and the ugly, that understand operations, understands how to make a company work and be that liaison from the corporate to the field, and being on both sides, and be even able to put systems and processes together, are very, very key factors, because most companies, that's where they're going to fail. They might have the capital, they might have the experience, but if they don't have the operations in place, the administration, the customer service, the legalities, and all of those things together, you're going to go down no matter how much money you have to throw at the problem. If you don't have the solutions and effective systems in place, it's just not going to work. And then four, you have to have a marketing strategy. And of course, our marketing strategy here is word of mouth, whereas other companies might be TV, radio, ads, internet marketing, and so on and so forth. So we have a combination of some of those things like internet marketing, but at the same time, this is still a home-based business where we're going to be able to refer people and just showing the program the power of it from referral marketing. And so, we're really excited that that is the model that you chose to take. And then the last thing that you need, which is really the least important of all of them, and I'll give you an example of that in just a second, is the product. And you actually have a magnificent product. Now, I come from the education field. Before I went into business for myself, I was in education, and we used to sell, this is, post-secondary programs that sold for $10, $15, $20, $30,000 before financing. And so I understand the value of what people pay for education. And when you have an education platform with Prime, Surge, and so, which you're going to go over here real quick, when you see what you could actually make, even from our least expensive modules within the Prime membership, I mean, there's a wealth of information there. I always like to say this, even just one of those videos in the Prime eBay category can take you step by step and give you kind of a guided tour on what to do, when to do it, and how to do it to really grow your business over a 6-month period to $4,000 or $5,000 a month. Now, folks, if you understand that, less than, half of America makes less than that right now. And you just saw the stats on Europe, 45% of the people are unemployed. That is huge, huge amounts of money without having upfront cost or inventory, but just being able to learn how to do that. That is exceedingly valuable. So we have a tremendous product, not to mention that what you said, Ken, we're not trying to force anybody to buy our brand. We're just going to basically insert ourselves in a process that's already happening of buying and selling of external customers that are already looking for goods and services. And we're just going to put those products out there kind of in the line of fire and wait for those sales to come in, which are already happening with us or without us. So when you look at that, you really have the whole everything that you need to have a successful business, you have it right here. And then if I just add one last thing is the leadership. When you have people like Hitesh and Kevin Hokoana and the other partners in the company, and the experience and the combined experience that they have, both online and offline businesses, we have a winning combination. So we're really excited. We have a very, very strong team, and we're just looking to hit a home run with this. Last thing, and then I'm going to shut up and turn it back over to you. One of the things that we really love about this program is it's priced right. It's priced for the average person, where it's average for the person that actually wants to take it to a whole nother level, and more importantly, it's international, because the world has become a very, very small place, because everything that you talked about today, Ken, including this webinar presentation that I'm sitting in my car connected to my MiFi with my laptop open in my car doing this presentation, could not have happened without the internet. Airbnb could not do their website without the internet. Uber cannot do anything without the internet. And so e-commerce cannot happen without the internet. And when you have something that's been that disruptive technology that has now impacted e-commerce in the way that it has, even in telecom, back in 2006, we were preaching that by 2012, everybody was going to be on digital phone service. And right now, because of the internet, we're able to do this presentation. And so that's just going to keep going and going and going. So right now, once again, we're at that point where we're telling anybody, this is going to keep going. It's going to keep growing with you or without you. So now's the time to take action, and get involved. So thank you very much for having me. I'm going to go ahead and shut up now, Ken, and I'll turn it back over to you.
Danny, I tell you, absolute pleasure to have you on, and the words you said were so true. And I was just actually looking over some numbers that I just got, and as I talked, we just launched this thing, just not but a few months ago, and really, if I really looked at it, about six weeks now, and we just crossed our 60,000th members. So 60,000 plus members are now accessing the system. And in the first pay run that was already done, and now the bonuses that just came out, and I'm jumping a little bit ahead of myself here, but when I read this, INFINii has already paid out its membership $1 million in this first pay run along with the bonuses, and we had over 24 people hit different ranks, some of them hitting as high as $10,000, $20,000 bonuses here just for the performance. So, Danny, it's just awesome, and it's an incredible honor to have both you and your lovely bride, Carla, on board with us as we move forward. So, folks, getting back to the platform, you heard all of this, and with Prime, you can start this business for $50. That's right, 50. That's how much it costs to get in here and begin getting trained. Now, the next one, Surge, is kind of my favorite one in the platform, because Surge is designed that, and by the way, when you come in at Surge, you get everything that's accessible within Prime, but Prime's designed for the person that just kind of wants to stick their toe in the water, maybe do this a little bit on a part-time basis, make a few $100 a month, and which is awesome. And we love people that participate with us. But Surge is really that spot where the beginning home-based entrepreneur that understands that they want to change their life and they want to get in there and they want to get all of the information and get ahead and be an adapter in this new economic wave, and they know they're going to get the advanced eBay and Amazon training, the additional platforms that are available, and the additional automated tools. It's key. Well, folks, Surge is $150 a month, and again, no upfront costs. From what you're going to learn in this platform, you're going to easily be able to go ahead and recover that, besides all the special bonuses that we have that we make available for people when they just enter. Now, the final piece of the platform is what we call Excel. And Excel is the premier building your global brand. Leveraging other Amazon sellers for profit, being able to access directly from areas. I know people using Excel right now, they're actually connecting directly to vendors out of China, doing absolutely incredible things, and that's importing the products to Amazon, utilizing the FBA, which is the Fulfillment by Amazon. And if you don't understand what I'm talking about, it's okay, because guess what? I didn't understand it either. And build your own Amazon brand. And of course, Excel includes the others. Now, the Excel is the premier level. That's $400. Unbelievably worth it. But again, if I was going to start today, and this is one of the things, again, that we do. We don't sit there and say, hey, get the big product like you see so many other companies say. No, our goal is to say, get the product that's going to serve you the best. Surge is the best way to start within this platform. And then once you get your feet grounded, then you can move to Excel. The only people I'd recommend going straight into Excel is if you're dead serious about just absolutely running like crazy with this. And if you are, then Excel is definitely the platform for you to jump into. But it's important that we go ahead and go over those points so you understand that this company's heart is in the right place, and it's not about getting into your wallet. So, question, how do you enroll in INFINii? Well, you become a partner. All it costs to be a partner and participate in the INFINii Rewards program and use this to introduce others is simply $9.95 per month for that. The other INFINii tools that we just talked about, those are available to customers. We have people that may have absolutely no interest in participating in the INFINii business opportunity, and that's perfectly fine with us. As a matter of fact, if you look at INFINIi's model, the number of customers that we have vastly outweighs the number of people we have participating in this, and that's left over from the original subsidiary of DS Domination, and that's something we're very proud of. Now, you select the platform. That's it. Select Prime, Surge, or Excel. Make that decision. Speak to the person that invited you here, and the person should have provided you or probably provided you with a link so you could get more information. But if not, you just need to go ahead and give them a call back and say, okay, I saw what's on here. I'm interested in taking the next step, and come jump in and join this opportunity. Now, I'm very quickly going to touch on the rewards program. And if you don't have an interest in that side, this is where you can get off. But I would tell you, before you do, you might want to invest just a moment to understand this. In the rewards side, we simply help people build, and all you're going to do is build two teams, simply a left team and a right team, and we go ahead and we assist you through this process. You've got unlimited e-commerce profits from building through the platform. There's no limit on the amount of money that you can generate through the sale of different products. And you've got fast start on the different product membership levels or subscriptions that you'll earn a 15% on the purchase one time when somebody decides they want to come in and join. We have an accelerated beginner bonus where literally in your first month, separate from even the fast start, you could earn up to $1,400 if you just get in here and get going and share it with enough people. We've wanted to make this very lucrative for you to go ahead and share the word of mouth power of INFINii. And then we have the accelerated dual team bonus. For those of you that are already in the home base industry, you know the power of the dual team bonus, and we pay up to $50,000 a week on the dual team alone as you start to grow a team, a substantial team, and that's up to $200,000 a month on your dual team structure alone. In addition to that, we have the INFINII Pay. So we've actually taken the best of the dual team and the best of what's a unilevel, and we've created a dual team unilevel hybrid, and the INFINII Pay gives you 5% to infinity. And those of you in this industry know that you can't do that on unilevels, but guess what? The owner and founder of this company sat there and said, we're going to push a full 70% of the global business volume into the rewards plan. Not 50 like most companies, a full 70%. And then the other thing to remember with most companies is that those companies pay 50% after they deduct COGS, or what are called cost of goods, because remember, I write the comp plans for a lot of them. So by the time they go to give you 50 cents, they've already deducted on average 20 cents or 25 cents off of the dollar in this example. So they're actually giving you 50% of 75 cents. Or let's even make it generous, 50% of 80 cents. So you're getting paid 40 cents on the dollar for the work you're doing. Folks, with INFINii, it's a 1-to-1 point to dollar ratio on the subscription fees. It's absolutely magnificent. And elevation bonuses to top off the cake is $10 million. So consider an INFINII Pay, 5%, not restricted by unilevel structure norms, paid all the way to infinity, simply has different rank associated caps with the payout, but is exactly what you want to do, be able to pay 5% on all the infinity within each enrollment tree line of lineage. And of course, we have the elevation bonuses and a global bonus, which shares the total global revenues with the field leaders that are out there making it happen. And the final piece, as we all know, ties into training. We have to train, and we grow through what we learn. So we have a video training library that right now is growing extensively. We have an e-commerce masterclass that's launching a little later this month. It's something that especially our international members are going to want to participate in heavily. We've got a Saturday morning training. This Saturday morning, I know that our top trainer, Carly, is going to be on there going over eBay and a lot of the different aspects. You're going to want to look for that in the back office, because I know that everybody's listening to this. If you're not part of INFINii, you're definitely joining at the end of this. So I'm just giving you a call ahead of time. Get in there, check the calendar, get on this training. Absolutely incredible. And of course, live training events that are going to be running globally all over the place that we have. The Masterclass series is just that, an incredible platform that's being put together. We want to turn you into an expert e-commerce player, and it's something that's going to allow you to dynamically add another stream of income to that. So you're going to receive your e-commerce expert certificate, and you're going to have the opportunity to become an INFINii trainer and travel the world with us. Because folks, can you imagine when we go ahead and advertise we're going into a market to teach how to literally become debt-free and build 5- and 6-figure yearly and even potentially monthly incomes on eBay and Amazon? How many people do you think are going to show up for those series? You're going to want to be at the front of that room participating in that. So are you ready? That's the question, to profit with INFINii. 1, as I said before, contact the member who shared it with you. 2, choose your platform. In order to get anywhere, you have to take massive action. Take massive action and decide to do something that's going to significantly impact your life. And 3, pursue that 90-day director bonus where you can literally qualify to be paid out an additional $20,000 on top of everything else we have going. And come join the INFINii experience and redefine your future with us as we move forward. It has been an absolute pleasure to be on here speaking with every one of you, and I look forward to seeing each and every one of you at our future events and our future webinars. Thank you so very much for your time this evening.